So we're here with Harry Derham today for the next episode of Ascot Asks. What's the best race you've won?
Probably my winner at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
About, when was that? 6 weeks ago or so. That was a really cool day. I hadn't had a winner at Cheltenham, and I hadn't really had a horse compete there yet.
Yeah.
Just gone there and finished last a few times, and I didn't think it would be that big a deal until I had one, and then I was like, oh no, this is really cool. So yeah, probably give me 5 at Cheltenham.
What's your favourite holiday destination?
I don't really like holidays.
Do you not?
No, I find them quite stressful. I like being in my routine. Adrian Brown, who's a great friend of mine, his family have a beautiful house in Portugal, in Vila Sol. So there, because it's not far to fly, it's a really nice house, and it's free of charge.
That's always the best
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
isn't it? Jam or cream first?
I'm cream first.
It's the only way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
And lots of it.
Yeah.
And then lots of jam. I really like the Ascot scones. I prefer them without raisins in though.
Ooh.
Controversial comment probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely cream first.
Who's your toughest opponent?
I spend my life trying to avoid Paul Nicholls, Dan Skelton's, Nicky Henderson's, Ollie Murphy's. So I'd say in England at the moment the toughest opponent is Paul Nicholls. He's 14 times champion trainer. He's trained 3,500 winners. Probably wants to train another 3,500 knowing him. So probably him, yeah.
Have you got a hidden talent, and if so, can you name it for us?
Some people would say I'm good at impressions, but I'm not doing one.
Oh, you're gonna have to give us. You can't leave us
No,
on like
absolutely
that.
not. I suppose impressions.
Who's your best impression? You don't have to give it. But who's the one that?
Probably Paul Nicholls, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to come back to you and ask you that at the end.
I've just many years been shouted at by him. I'm good at impersonating him.
What's your go-to dinner, meal, takeaway?
Takeaway,
Yeah.
pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, Pizza Hut, meat feast, large cheesy crusts, bottle of Tango, eat half for the evening, next day warm up the second half, have it for lunch.
What has been the toughest part of your career today?
Losing a horse is without question the hardest bit, because horses have setbacks, horses get beat in races, that happens all the time. Losing a horse in a race is just the most miserable part of it by miles.
Yeah. Has there ever been a moment where you have thought about quitting?
God, I've only just started.
Yeah, that's
No, I've only been doing it 2 years, so no, not yet. There's
Not
been
yet.
lots of moments of like, probably could have found a job that's slightly less stressful and slightly less challenging. But no, we're not at oh, I want to give up yet.
Yeah.
No, I think sometimes if it's not going so well, or horses have got beat or not run as well as you'd like, you have to remind yourself that you very much wanted to do this.
Yeah.
It's your idea. And I'm very lucky to do it.
We're here with Sisaico. So you've had 2 winners, and one of them at Ascot, one of them being Sisaico.
Sisaico with a 2 or 3 length advantage and goes on to win, surpassing well or being second.
How did that feel, like that experience of
Yeah,
winning?
that was particularly thrilling because Sir Psycho, I mean, I'm going to be rude in front of him, but he's a bit mad and you never quite know what you're going to get from him. And his owners and Paul actually sent him to me because they felt that he needed to change the scenery. So he came here and we did lots of work with him and did a few different things to try and make him just get feeling good again and get a bit of confidence back. And I try to be quite relaxed watching races and quite cool, just because I don't want to get too overexcited in case it doesn't happen, but I completely lost my mind that day. A place like Ascot is special because it feels like a proper event, and you get massive bottle of champagne as well. So it's winning at a place like that is, any of those Grade 1 tracks is very special. I've won that.
What race did you want to win when you were younger?
Gold Cup's the one for me. I'm sort of inspired growing up by watching Paul, Ruby Walsh, Cato Star win Gold Cups, and I think it's the ultimate test. They go a real strong gallop. It's just the best race for me. So the Gold Cup's always been the one.
Who has been your biggest inspiration in your career?
Paul Nicholls, definitely. He's obviously my uncle. You know, I grew up every Saturday going racing, normally sat in the car with either Dad or Dan Skelton or my grandfather. And what used to happen was I used to go racing on a Saturday. Paul and Ruby would win the big race. I'd just stand around and watch, and then I'd go home and the next Saturday do exactly the same again. And that was just my winters, and it was just absolutely amazing. So then obviously I worked for him for 11 years. In terms of horses and training them, I learnt everything I know off him. So there's no doubt my biggest inspiration in my career has been Paul, yeah, for sure.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
When you win a race, and it might be a nice race, it might be like the horse's career highlight, and you obviously the press have to do their job, but they'll say, where you go next? And I want to say, I don't care, we've just won a good race. It doesn't matter where we go next. We're going to go home or to the pub.
You had a short spell as a jockey.
Very short.
Yeah. You had one winner at Ascot, and it was for your uncle on Brampool.
Yeah.
How much of that do you remember?
Oh, it was really, really a cool day. I rode a horse called Tackrock half an hour before, and then I rode Brampool. Yeah, I remember it all really, really well. I've not had many rides against professionals before that, and Brampool was a good juvenile, didn't sort of quite make the top grade. I remember 4 out of 3 he absolutely winged, and I remember thinking, God, this is going quite well actually, and got up sides at the last with Jamie Moore, and Brampool just found a little bit more extra, and I remember pulling up in canter, thinking, I don't quite believe that's just happened actually, but yeah, that was cool. I could literally talk you through every second of that race really.
What is your biggest fear?
Failure, no doubt. If you're lucky enough to become a trainer and train a number of horses, so many people are investing their trust in you, and that is an enormous thing, to spend money, however much it is, on a horse and have it in training with you. It's a huge responsibility, and I don't take that lightly.
What was the last song that you listened to? I'm
going to get so much stick for this. In the summer, I went to a Taylor Swift concert in Wembley. I thought it was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Got a Taylor Swift playlist.
There's nothing wrong with that.
In the car on the way home a few days ago, I had Taylor on, yeah.
What has been your proudest moment in sport?
My first winner.
Yeah.
Boxing Day 2022, my first ever runner. You know, you only have your first runner once, and you obviously want to get it right if you can. The dream is to have a winner on your first runner, and the fact that Mum and Dad owned him, that was an immensely cool moment, and I'd say that'll take a bit of topping.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs. But I've got no time for cats at all. But mainly Labradors. Really, really like Labradors. Yeah, I've got one called Margot, and she's really cool.
If you weren't a trainer, what would you be?
Like, I basically feel like I'm sort of living the dream. I get to stand in the field, watch horses run around, and like it's so important to all of us, but it's enjoyment. It's, you know, it's fun for our owners. So like, I'm living a fantastic life doing what I'm doing. But if I had to have an actual job, then I would say I would do something that everyone needs, and insurance is that, and Dad's had a good life out of it, so I'd probably follow his route.
What's your first memory of horse racing or being around horses?
My first memory of being around horses was on a pony called Strider, which it was a grey. My granddad used to take me riding, and literally when I started riding, the only reason I did was because halfway around this hack we used to go on, Grandad used to have some minstrels in his pocket, and I just thought, well, that's, you know, an upside of going riding. I can have some minstrels and have a nice time with my granddad. And then I was always a bit bored by it, but the moment I got let off the lead rein and I could just sort of like trot around the field following my sister on her pony, then I thought I was going to be a jockey then.
So we're here with Ballambar. He finished third last time out. Is there a plan for him to still come to Ascot over Christmas?
He could well do. We've not made a really solid plan with him yet. Ran really well at Cheltenham the other day. He was very, very pleased with him there. Ascot's one of his options. We're not need to speak to Vernon and Paul, his owners, about where we go next. But he's come out of Cheltenham well, so he's a horse I'm really looking forward to this season.
Going back to some more less horsey questions.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Dedicated, moody, and driven.
Is there a weird food combination that you enjoy?
I like lots and lots of mayonnaise with things. That's probably the one weird thing, but no, there's not many combinations that I think it's probably quite an unremarkable diet, yeah.
Fair enough. Corto Star or Sprinter Sacra?
Corto Star, by about 3.5 miles. Don't get me wrong, Sprinter Sacra is an amazing horse, but I was lucky enough to be able to pat Corto Star on the head and see him in the yard. A horse of many people's lifetime, in my opinion. I'll be surprised if I see one as good as him.
Yeah. Would you take Denman or Corto Star?
Corto Star.
Yeah.
And it was probably a shame that they were there at the same time, and people had, you know, not take sides, but I was always a Corto fan. I mean,
Yeah.
he was extraordinary, and in my opinion, he knew he was good. Like when people walked into the art, he used to stand there with his ears pricked, like, "Well, you've definitely come to see me."
Yeah.
And I just caught the tail end of his career. My first season was his last.
Okay. Yeah.
But growing up, watching him do what he did, mind blowing.
Yeah. Couple of viewer-led questions. So one we've got from somebody called Hudson Owen. How old were you when you started, and how did you start?
Started riding probably when I was like 3 or 4.
Another one from Chloe Quinn, 2023. What's your best horse if you had to pick one?
Brentford Hope.
Yeah.
He's been amazing for me. He's won 5 races. He's won £90,000 in prize money. He's second in a Grade 2. Took us to the Punchestown Festival, finished second. He's just been an absolute star for me. We bought him early on to try and be like a flag bearer for our yard,
Yeah.
and he's been that. He's been a fantastic horse. I love him to bits.
When you retire, how do you want to be remembered?
I would absolutely love to be one of the top national hunt trainers in the country for the time I train. I've got a lot of work to go. I've not been doing it for 2 years yet.
Yeah.
We've had 70 odd winners so far, which is a decent start.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd love to one day be able to say that I was one of the leading national hunt trainers in the country. If I can, I'm going to work really hard to try and make that happen. But as long as people think that I was professional, I was a decent bloke, loyal to the people that work for me, then I suppose I'd have done all right.
Perfect. Thank you, Harry.
Thanks very much. Nice
Cheers.
one. Cheers.